This is Lance Edwards, and I want to welcome you to what is really a special treat. One of the favorite things about being in this business is seeing others get their apartment deals done. And so we've got a Circle of Champions success story here with one of our, actually two-time, now second-time Circle of Champion member, and it's no other than a gentleman I want to introduce to you. His name is Mr. Delwyn Marks, and before I bring him on, let me just tell you about what Delwyn has done. He just, besides being a second-time Circle of Champion, this is the second time we've had him here on the interview series, but he just recently wholesaled a 7-plex, a 7-unit small apartment property, and he made $28,000. $28,000. So we're going to head for us here. And first of all, Delwyn, congratulations and welcome to this call, and thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey, thanks a lot, Lance. How you doing?
I am super, and looks like you're doing pretty good yourself, Delwyn. So
yeah.
First of all, thank you so much for taking this time to be part of this interview. I know you got busy, you're out there active in the business, but thank you for taking this time, Delwyn.
All right, no problem. Thanks for having me, Lance.
Well, Delwyn, what I wanted to do is I just wanted to kind of step through this deal. We've got a number of people who will be listening to this. Some of them are first time, just getting started in real estate. Some of them perhaps may have been doing single family. Some may have been doing other areas of real estate, but they're all interested in apartments. And I just want to step you through some questions here. I've prepared some slides with the questions on it, but I just want, I'll use that as prompts to both you and I as, topics to cover. But I want you to, please feel free to, just let it all out there about this experience that you went through, because I think it's really important that people hear from entrepreneurs like yourself on the front line that's actually doing these deals and the good, the bad, and the ugly of it. So to kick us off, let's start with a property. I've already said it was 7 units, but Delwyn, for everyone listening, tell us what condition was this property in, what was the occupancy, and what kind of opportunities did it present to you when you found it?
The property was in pretty good condition. The previous owner had started making some updates. He actually had a contractor on site that was running one of the apartments, so every time he needed something done, the guy would do it for him. And after 7 units, he probably had already upgraded probably about 5 of them. He had them. The guy took his time, so he stayed there, so he took his time doing it. It was in good condition. When he finished with them, but they just, like I said, they had 2 left to do. It was 100% occupied, except for the one. When I say owner, I mean the guy was buying it on a finance from the actual seller, and he stayed on site. And
was this property undergoing rehab when you found it?
Not exactly. It was kind of like in the middle. The 5 that he had already rehabbed, probably did that like 6 months to a year ago. He hadn't got to the last 2. The guy actually was trying to sell it for a lot more than what I bought it for. And the strange thing and the bad thing about it, the seller was selling on a finance. The guy he was selling on a finance to, he passed away. And basically that's why the owner contacted me. I sent the owner a letter, a postcard probably about a month or 2 before all this happened, and we had talked briefly about it. Then once the guy passed away, he called me again, and the price had dropped tremendously.
So, all right, so let me make sure I understand, everyone understands. So there was an original owner, let's call him owner A. He had sold the property to a new owner, owner B, on a seller finance note, and owner B was doing a rehab, but then owner B passed away. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So owner A is now taking the property back and is responding to you and now looking to sell it outright again.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Super. So there's the setup, everyone, and we're going to talk about some more about how Delwyn found this deal and how he found his buyer. But before I get into that, Delwyn, let's just do this as way of background. Share with everyone what is your background and what prompted you to get started with apartments and real estate? How long you've been involved with real estate? How long you've been involved with apartments? And also, what training have you received?
Okay. I did my first wholesale flip 11 years ago. It was a single-family home. I made about $4,000 on it. Then I went full-time 9 years ago, basically wholesaling single-family homes. I did a couple of rehabs over the years, but basically it was just wholesaling. Last year, I got your course, your home study course, and I started thinking, mostly about doing apartments. So I knew it was going to be probably a little more work, more zeros involved. But when I started doing it, it seemed like it was the same amount of work I was doing on the single-family homes. I wholesaled 2 apartments last year, 4-unit, 7-unit we're talking about right now. So basically, I always wanted to move, I'll keep growing as a person, as a business person. So I knew single-family homes, I would do the same thing every day. I get the same results. So I wanted to move up to apartments, start off wholesaling them. Eventually, I want to get to the part where I'm buying the apartments for myself and my family. And that's pretty much it.
So that's super. And so everyone listening, we're talking about, I guess this is small apartment deal number 2, the 7-unit. We made $28,000. Just for way of reference, how much on your first small apartment deal, which is a 4-plex, how much did you make wholesaling that deal?
I made $11,000.
$11,000. So in these 2 deals, you've made $39,000 wholesaling them. As a house wholesaler, what would you say your average wholesale fee was on a house deal, Dylan?
It was roughly about $5,000 per deal. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
So average around $5,000 on a wholesale. So here, if we just take these 2 deals and add them up, let's see, we got $39,000 in 2 deals. That's $19,500 average across these 2 deals. I guess $19,500 is a little bit better than $5,000. Is that what you think?
Yeah, just a little bit better. Yeah.
Almost 4 times. Okay. All right. So you've been doing, as you said, wholesaling houses. You've stepped into small apartments. You want to go after the extra zeros. All right. So that's what brings you to getting started. Well, let's get back to this deal, which is your second small apartment deal. So this is, I know everyone's interested in this, Della. How did you find this property? You kind of already mentioned the situation and the opportunity. So how did you find it, and how did you pursue it?
I found it off a postcard campaign I did. Actually, the 4-unit, 7-unit came off the same postcard campaign. I mailed out 500 postcards to apartment owners of 3 to 4 units. And this is a 7-unit, so the owner actually has other apartments. So that's how he got the postcard. And this is the one he wanted to sell. I probably talked to him about 2 months, like I said before. I actually got a deal on the closed and under contract. He wanted around $230,000 for it, but he was kind of helping the guy. He was selling home finance to sell it. He said they wanted $230,000. I said, really wasn't a deal to me at that time. Then about a month later, when the owner B basically passed away, owner A called me and was like, "Hey, I want to sell it to you at $130,000. Can you buy it and close quickly?" I say, "I'm pretty sure I can." Went over some more numbers, talked to a few of my buyers, and basically when I got on the contract, I had a buyer lined up. We were supposed to close rather quickly, but I had a few issues. But from start to finish, I think the whole deal took probably about 6 weeks to close.
Okay, that's from contract to closing.
Yeah. Correct.
Okay. And then you had a couple of months in between there where you're kind of going back and forth with the owner on price. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
So he started at $230,000. He was asking $230,000, and you ended up getting it down to $135,000. Is that right?
Yeah, $130,000.
$130,000. Basically $100,000 off, almost half price.
Yes, correct.
Nice job, Dylan. Nice job, Dylan. All right, so now you've got this property under contract. You came through a direct mail campaign, which, by the way, I hope everyone heard, 500 letters yielded $39,000. That's a pretty good return on your postage stamp investment there, Dylan. So you've got this second deal coming from this direct mail campaign. Owner's got some motivation. Dylan's got on a contract with the intent to wholesale it. So let's review the numbers. So Dylan just said the purchase price was $130,000. So you had it under contract to buy it for $130,000.
Yes.
Dylan, how did you determine the price at which you were going to sell it?
I just looked at other apartments that sold in the area in the last 3 to 6 months. They had a 4-unit, I think, sold, I want to say roughly for about $120,000. So that's basically what I got the numbers at.
Oh, Dylan, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, so you saw a fourplex that sold for $120,000. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
So you got 7plex, and so did you just extrapolate? What was your thought process there?
I just thought roughly it would go between $15,000 to $20,000 per door.
Okay.
Well, I could get it under contract, I say for $15,000 to $20,000 per door. I thought I could sell it for roughly from $22,000 to $24,000 per door.
Okay, so you sold it at $158, so that is 22 something per door, if I'm doing the math right in my head.
Yeah, about $22.5 per door.
$22.5 per door. Okay, you're selling on $22.5 per door. So you came up with a price of $158,000 to your buyer, your new buyer. Was there any negotiating around that price, or did he accept it?
Actually, I was advertising for $180,000.
Yep.
And it was an issue with the plumbing, so I kind of knocked off about $15,000 or so. And actually, a buddy of mine that was in your seminar with me, Tony Hogue, he brought the buyer to me, so I had to give him $4,000 from a deal. So it actually sold for $162,000, but I had to split, give him his cut.
Oh, that's interesting. So you actually found your buyer came from referral from a network connection you made at our boot camp. Is that right?
Well, actually, I've been knowing Tony for a while. He just came to the boot camp with me, but I've been knowing Tony for a few years.
Okay, so he helped find the buyer through his network.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
Okay. All right. So now you've got your buyer. You've got an agreed price. You got the buyer through a network connection. So now it's always about the closing. It's just that final 1 yard. Getting it from the 1 yard line to the goal line. Were there any interesting stories about getting this deal closed, Ellen?
Yes, it was, Lance. The deal was actually supposed to close in 4 weeks. My cash buyer, he was waiting for a wire to come from Israel. The wire came in. It went to the bank, but they had some issue with the account number. So it took about a week and a half to figure out exactly what happened. But what happened when the wire went to the bank, they sent it back to Israel because they didn't know the account number. And so basically what he had to do while I was going back to Israel, he had to get another wire sent from Israel here. And the second wire, it went through fine. And that's when we closed like a day later. So it was pretty interesting. That's the first time I had an issue with the wires, from overseas like that. So, you live and you learn.
So you were scheduled for 4 weeks, got the wire issue. You closed it in 6 weeks. I put the description of interesting, except I imagine at the time that wasn't too interesting. That was probably a little more frustrating.
Yeah.
All right. So now you got the deal closed. It was an all cash transaction. Is that right?
Yes, it was.
Okay. So now you got this deal under your belt. Here's deal number 2, second small apartment deal. He's closed. I've gone from making an average of $5,000 to $11,000. Now you got a $28,000 wholesale fee. So Dylan, what's next for your real estate business? Where do you go from here?
Well, I'm still flipping apartments. But I also, in the process of buying a few for myself when I come across the right deal, getting the loans lined up and my private money lined up so I can purchase for myself.
All right, outstanding. Are you still doing house deals?
If something good comes my way, but I'm kind of focusing more on the small apartments and big apartments. Where I won't, let a deal slip through my hands. If it's a good deal and I can put a buyer and seller together, I'll still do a house deal.
Okay, super. So, here's the one thing we got. We got people on this call, or they're listening to this call, Delwyn, that, like I say, are some of them have looking to get their first deal of any kind done, looking to get the first apartment deal done, looking over, what you did with this 7-plex, and making $28,000. My final question I want to put to you is, what is the single most important thing you learned in this process that you would share with others?
Last to say it in one word, it would be patience. This whole process, I learned to be more patient, especially, having to wait on the wire, not knowing if that really what the story was about the wire getting lost. So from start to finish, I've learned patience.
Well, that's outstanding. Patience. All right. And I would suggest maybe a little bit of persistence. The way you kept going after that seller. You stayed with him. You didn't take it. The 230 wasn't going to work, but you persisted. And here you are, $28,000 richer. Well, Delwyn, congratulations. Outstanding job. Just really, really pleased with what you're doing with your real estate business, and the numbers just keep getting bigger. And I just want to thank you for taking the time to share this, this experience with everyone that's going to be listening. Thank you, Delwyn.
All right, thanks a lot, Lance. I appreciate you having me on the call.
All right. Well, there you go, everyone. Delwyn March, $28,000 on a second small apartment deal. You go out and do the same thing right now. Get started. Go out. Get your marketing going. Make that offer. Close that deal. Until the next Circle of Champions Success interview, look forward to hearing about your success stories. Take care, everyone. Goodbye.